Welcome to week 18 of the NFL season. This is our bets show. We're finally at the end. The playoffs are near, and this week in particular is very interesting. There's a lot of people teams sit players. There's so much more incentives. So yeah, it is definitely like the most interesting week probably of the year.
hmm
Probably one of the hardest to bets as well.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be coming in. We had a winning week last week, so solid coming off of mediocre week 16. So all right, let's end the regular season off with a bang before we ride hot through the playoffs.
Let's do it.
Good.
All right, who wants to start us off?
I'll kick us off. All right, so we've watched pretty much an entire season of NFL football down to the final week here, a lot of playoff implications. And if I have one conclusion to the analysis, it is this. The NFL is rigged and it's all about viewership. Go Lions. All right. But really, I think this week's all going to be about viewership for the playoffs. So all my bets this week are who I think the NFL wants to win.
Oh my, Nick, no way is that how
Oh,
you're
yeah.
ending week 18.
100%. Yeah.
No
we're going for
way.
it.
You're
That's
going with
why
the full tinfoil hat.
that's why your lock is what it is. Shit.
So this week's all about viewership, and I think that they want the Seahawks as my first pick, -2.5 in the playoffs. DK Metcalf is amazing in prime time and one of the most entertaining players of the NFL. So for this reason, I'm going with the Seahawks -2.5 to keep their season alive.
Nick, we're just, I mean, every viewer watching just heard that and they're just going to be like, our minimal viewers just start be like, that's your reasoning.
All 12 of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're just gonna be like, all right,
dude.
all right, that's all he has to offer is that.
From 12 to
Goodbye.
10 subscribers, just like
If you're watching the same NFL as me, I mean, it looks pretty rigged out there. So I'm just playing the cards on the table here. It's all about Vegas.
Not how it works.
You sure about that?
It's how one
I'm
game
actually
works.
like
Sure
pretty
about that?
positive about that. Yeah. The rig stuff is very, very overblown.
Who's going to stop the NFL from rigging a game? Nobody. Who's
It's
stepping in?
I don't think you
SEC?
realize how hard it is to rig a game.
I mean, they did it with the Lions last
No,
week.
they didn't.
A lot of there's a
All right,
lot
we
of
need to we
game.
can quickly touch on the Lions thing. What they purposely sent multiple guys to confuse the Cowboys, and the ref misheard. Like they thought it was the one guy and it was the other one. Like that, if they try to confuse them, like don't maybe. I mean,
I don't know.
the ref.
Really Campbell told them before
You
the
got
game.
refs tripping over people in the end zone for safeties with Lamar Jackson. We all remember the Kadarius.
Oh, so the NFL
play.
doesn't want Lamar in the playoffs.
I'm just saying, maybe it had something to do with the spread.
Didn't.
It's just crazy what people come up
Didn't
with.
even.
Just never know. I think a lot of our viewers are aware of the rigging, so I'm gonna play that card.
All right, so first Seahawks because DK Metcalf in prime time is fun to watch. All right, that's the first one. Number two.
I will take this one. I am taking the Tennessee Titans at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are fighting for their playoff hopes. So I'm taking the Titans plus 5.5 here. If you haven't seen it, today's Tuesday, January 2nd. Mike Vrabel had his press conference today, and he said he hates fucking losing. He hates it. He doesn't like it. He actually doubled down on it a couple times to the same guy and made that reporter feel like POS for sure. Because another reporter
Because you got
started asking
anything else to add? Anything else?
yeah, and it's just you don't see, like, in the past years the Titans team has slowly been on decline, but they've always fought to the end. They've always had a pretty solid team, and yes, they've been riddled with injuries. Their offensive line is not great, and Will Levis is questionable for this game. I think it's actually in favor if he doesn't play this game. If Ryan Tannehill plays this game, I think it helps the Titans case even more. I think he's just better quarterback in terms of his sense of the game right now than Will Levis is a rookie. He doesn't take as many risks as Will Levis does. Plus, Jacksonville also limping into the playoffs or into this last game. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence set out last week. He will play this week, but he's still not 100%. They're without Christian Kirk, which I've mentioned beforehand. That offense has been not the same without him. He's a key piece of that. Zay Jones is questionable with the hamstring. Like Jamal Agnew is out for the season. Like they have Calvin Ridley and Ingram as their main pass catchers. Like they're definitely gonna kind of clamp down on that. Plus, the Titans have absolutely owned this Jacksonville Jaguars team in the past couple of years. Jacksonville is 4-9 ATS in the last 13 games against Tennessee. They are 4-9 straight up in the last 13. The Tennessee Titans are 8-1 straight up in the last 9 games when playing at home against Jacksonville. They've absolutely owned this rivalry for the past couple of years. And it screams Titans and it screams my other pick, which we'll get to later on. But take the Tennessee Titans plus 5.5 when you get it now. I'm going to guess this final score of this game is going to be the Tennessee Titans 26, the Jaguars 20. Comes down to Trevor Lawrence throwing a pick on the last drive.
I love how we started with rigging and team bias. What the Colts need.
I just gave you.
Yeah, your initial thing was Mike Vrabel hates losing.
He does.
He hates losing so much that he's lost 11 games. He hates it
Yeah.
that much that he's lost 11 games.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to lose another one, so
He's probably going to.
Maybe he should talk to his GM about taking all those terrible quarterbacks. I don't know.
All right. All right, my first pick here. We got Carolina plus 5.5. Last week we unfortunately did not have any of these spots where bad quarterbacks were favored on the road. Still had success. Took the Saints last week in that must-win against the Bucks. It was a really bad spot for the Bucks. I think this is a pretty rough spot for the Bucks again. I understand Carolina has Bryce Young. Bryce Young's not a good quarterback, but this is 5.5 points. I am continuing my trend this year of fading bad quarterbacks on the road that are these like pretty heavy favorites. Like, I don't know why this isn't closer to 3. Yeah, the Buccaneers. It should be more of like a pick 'em to me in this spot. Like, I just don't know why the Buccaneers are favored by this many points in Carolina. And Carolina would love nothing more than to send a divisional opponent home. We saw that owner just got fined like $300K for just like throwing a fit in the box, threw like Coke at a fan or something. He's livid.
I don't think it was Coke.
What was it?
I think he was pretty tuned up.
Whatever it was, some Jack and Coke, whatever.
There you go.
Whatever it was. He was livid. Last time they played Tampa earlier this year, they only won by 3. Tampa did, and that was in Tampa. So I don't know. Coming into Carolina last week, yes, the Bucks could actually make the playoffs even if they lose this game. But they obviously want to win and secure the division. But too many points. A bad quarterback on the road.
One of your things was just saying they would like nothing more than to send a divisional foe home. That was like basically the same reason I took the Titans and I got yelled.
Yeah,
at.
but you are taking the Titans.
No, I'm taking the Titans for what I spit it out, which was straight facts.
Are they at home or on the road?
They're at home.
The Titans are at home.
Yes, and they're plus 5.5.
But the difference is the Trevor Lawrence is not Baker Mayfield or
I wasn't arguing that. I was arguing
that he's nowhere near as good as Baker Mayfield.
I was just arguing that they
not.
have more incentive to play for this week than they did any other weeks. And you just said the exact same thing.
No, that was just one of like my many points. The main point with this pick, I told you, was
I gave a lot of points too.
Was fading bad quarterbacks that are favored on the road, not fading a good quarterback that it needs to win the division, and it's a good team. That's what you're doing. It's the same amount of points, but against a good team. Like, why would you not just take the points at home against a bad team that's on the road?
I like the narrative better over here.
Yeah, I'm thinking I like this narrative a little bit better.
Right, go ahead, Alex.
All right. Well, speaking of bad quarterbacks being favored on the road, Ravens plus 3.5. It's going to be my first pick of the week. Mason Rudolph going into Baltimore as over a field goal favorite. I know the Ravens are probably going to rest Lamar, rest some of their big dogs, but just last year we saw what Huntley was able to do in that offense. I mean, it wasn't like he's not playing. I mean, Lamar's playing MVP ball this year. He wasn't doing that last year, but Huntley coming in there last year was not a huge step down. And the Ravens are still filled with studs and very easily in the same type of narrative, type of game, could knock a division foe out of the playoffs. They're playing for a lot less. Obviously, they've got the 1 seed secured, but this is the classic fade Mike Tomlin as a favorite. You take him when he is a home dog, and you take him when the spread is over a touchdown. And I am completely fine betting on the Ravens backups in this game against Mason Rudolph. He's looked okay the last couple of weeks, but he hasn't played a team top to bottom like the Ravens. And I think it's absurd that he's favored by over a field goal here. So Ravens plus 3.5.
If the Steelers win this game, does that put Mike Tomlin over 500? We're at 500. No, they're 8-7 right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say
No,
it'd be
no.
500.
They're
Yeah,
Nine-
they're
17 games. 17 games.
Well,
So
They're
yeah.
8-8. They 8-8.
9-8, right? Or I don't know. No, they're 7. They're 9-7, I believe. Let me look it up. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think it's 9-7.
No, okay.
Where are we at?
I'm nearly positive they're 9-7. This, and then they have to get to 10
Yeah,
wins.
9-7.
have a shot at
Well,
making the playoffs.
I'm just that's pretty impressive for Tomlin. That team he's been given.
Does
back
it
to-
every year.
I know it's crazy.
But yeah, I think it's ridiculous that Mason Rudolph is favored on the road by more than a field goal.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you there. That's crazy. Okay. PB, do you want to start this one and then I'll go and then Alex and Nick can go?
Yeah. So my next pick is Atlanta, New Orleans, Atlanta the Saints over 41.5. Both of these teams have a chance to make the playoffs. Atlanta is a little bit thinner. They need a little bit more to happen. Even if both these teams win, there's still a chance they miss if the Bucks win. The entire playbook for both sides is going to come out in this game. Obviously, I don't think either of these coaches are super creative, so it's not like it's just they're gonna go out there and look like the 49ers or something, but it'll be enough to get this game over 41.5. I think Taysom, it really gets some heavy usage this week. The last time they played, he had like 10 or more opportunities, and with Kamara banged up, I think we could be in for like a vintage Taysom Hill game here. But yeah, I just think both these teams must win. They're just gonna throw everything at the other team. I think that's gonna hurt the defenses more than the offenses. So taking points.
Taking
like
the points.
I like it.
All right. I had flipped my pick. I am going to be taking the Raiders minus 2.5 here against the Broncos. I was originally on the Broncos, and then I started doing the math in my head. I mean, obviously both teams are out of the playoffs, but the Raiders are playing for the head coach, and the Broncos are not. Pierce has won that locker room. Obviously, it's Aiden O'Connell versus Trevor Siemian still, right?
Uh,
Or who is
no,
it's
it's,
not Trevor Siemian, it's
For the Broncos, it's Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm in the Raiders at home are a much better team than they are on the road. And Pierce is playing for his job. I think Antonio Pierce actually has a really good shot at being the next head coach here. He's done a lot for that team. I'm not sure if bowl cut head will make that that decision after the season is over. But he's definitely done enough to win this job, I think. So and plus, again, the Broncos have mailed it in. They widely overpaid for Sean Payton. He's been mediocre this entire year. With that team that he had around him. Obviously, he didn't like Russ. Russ is going to be gone next year. So I think they've all packed their bags in and looking to 2024 here. And the Raiders have absolutely owned this Denver team in the last couple of years here. The Raiders are 7-0 ATS in the last 7 games while playing Denver. They've absolutely just dominated this series. I think continues this week. So give me the Raiders here minus the 2.5.
Interesting mid-show flip.
Mid-show flip. Yep.
I like it though. I think that's the right side.
All right.
You or me? Who wants to take it away?
Well, we know Nick's analysis, so maybe you should go first. No, let Nick go first. Let's hear his actual.
Well, besides the fact that I think Buffalo is obviously a great primetime label to have in there, I think the loss of Bradley Chubb is heavily understated this week for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, this guy is second on the team in tackles. He's their sack leader. He accounts for 50% of their forced fumbles. And there's not too many other edge rushers on that team who can consistently get it done like that. So against the Bills, where you have to apply a lot of pressure, get Josh Allen uncomfortable as much as you can and get him out of the pocket, that just doesn't add up well. And they still have only really beat the Cowboys this year, with a winning record. So I originally had picked Miami to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I loved their offense last year before all the injuries and thought it would continue this year, especially with Jalen Ramsey. But they've had a lot of injuries on defense that I don't think Vic Fangio's scheme is able to overcome ultimately. So for that reason, I'm going Bills -3 in a must-win game for them. And as Alex likes to say, hungry dogs run faster. So,
But they're not a dog.
no, I'm just
But
saying.
a hungrier dog.
Yeah,
They're
win the
just-
race.
Yeah,
They need it more. They need it more.
Yeah, the Dolphins don't really need to win. So the Bills are playing for everything.
Well, yeah.
I just-
That's sometime. Well, yeah, Alex, you go because I think we all have a pick in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the same side here. Buffalo -3. Nick, you laid out a bunch of the injuries. They're still banged up on offense too. I don't know if Waddle's playing this week. Mostert's been off and on the injury report. And they're a different offense when they don't have those two guys. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. I stick to it. I think the Bills are the second best team in the AFC behind the Ravens. And they have been playing like they've been playing playoff games basically for the last 4 to 6 weeks. And we've seen a completely different team than the start of the year. I mean, they stopped making those stupid mistakes. I mean, Josh Allen is still turning the ball over a little bit too much, but I think they've basically been playing like their season's on the line, and I think it continues here. I think that they really, really, really want the playoffs to run through Buffalo. They want that home field advantage, which is one of the biggest in the playoffs every year with that weather. And I think they're the better team here. They're healthier. They're turning it on at the right time when I think the Dolphins are kind of fading at the wrong time. And I think that the Bills secure the 2 seed here with this win, and a completely improbable but very Bills-like season.
Yep, that brings me to my lock of the week, and that is Buffalo -3. Bet on Buffalo I've thought this team since the beginning of the year has been one of the best teams, even through their losing stint. Like a lot of Josh Allen's early turnovers. Yes, lately I've seen some more turnovers that are probably his fault, but earlier in the year it was just like really bad luck. Like they weren't really his fault. Waddle still hurt. Tyreek is not fully healthy and looked like he may have tweaked his ankle again, actually, in the game. The Bills are just like they're on a mission right now. They were long shots to make the playoffs not too long ago. Every single game have been must wins, and they have looked amazing every step of the way. Miami, like Buffalo, there's a chance that they can make the playoffs if other things go their way. But like to them, it's just like it's a must win, or you are out of the playoffs, or you get the 2 seed. Like there's so much motivation there. Miami, on the other hand, has this mindset of like we're really banged up. We know we're in the playoffs. Even if we lose this game, it's kind of like they have that feeling with a safety net, and like maybe like we just need to get out of this game with our guys healthy so we can just even like field a competitive team in the playoffs. Like that, their mindset is just going to be so much different here. A few weeks ago, like even maybe like last week, before this Chubb injury and these additional offensive line injuries, like I still probably would have pegged Miami to win this game. I think they've had this game marked for a little while, but it's just now caught up. Like it's gonna be too much for them to overcome, and I'm all over Buffalo in this spot. Buffalo's gonna get the 2 seed.
Yeah, why was Chubb playing in that game when he got hurt? Like they
Yeah,
were
the
down.
fact they should
5
not,
minutes.
they should have after the blowout, they needed to just take him out and get everything ready for Buffalo.
Yep.
That was a mistake.
Yep. Big time.
I mean, obviously hindsight, but like, I mean, you're down that much. Like,
Well, they did. The thing is, the year prior, they were down by more than that, and I think they came back. Remember? It was the fourth quarter. They had there was a 20, they were down by like 20 something points and they came back.
yeah, but I mean,
With 5 minutes left.
yeah,
I'm just
Bad
saying the
coach.
deficit was just as big in that.
yeah. No, I agree. I think it was just kind of
But
Mike
yeah,
McDaniel
It was
was
the final
overthinking.
whistle. I mean, I get it, but
Yeah, I mean, I know people they want to be out there and they want to be playing. There's like, game check incentives. There's, sack incentives, like for players. Like I understand that, but like, man, I mean, you have a
but
really good team.
I mean, yeah, he dropped that touchdown, but like
I don't know if that would have made a difference. I mean, yeah, it would have been closer.
yeah, no, but I don't think the touchdown, but I'm just saying I don't think Tyreek. Yes, his like just if he runs just a sprint down the field, he has the speed, but like the cuts and stuff with that ankle, I'm telling you, it's affecting him.
I mean, they're just gonna shoot him with Toradol and just won't feel it.
Well, I mean, they have to do something, but
Is it in
I
Miami?
think yeah, it's in Miami.
Yep.
I think this game is just the mindset of both teams is so much different. Just
No, I agree. I see the
Dolphins
reasoning.
trying to get out, make sure they're healthy. Like they know they're just gonna have to, dominate teams down the stretch. Like just get your guys healthy first. Like that's kind of what I think they're thinking going into this.
Yeah.
But obviously the 2 seed it's important. So
Yeah, very important.
All right. I'll hop in here so you and Nick can duke it out, Corey, at the end. But my final regular season lock of the week is going to be the Bears +3 going into Lambeau. This is the Bears Super Bowl right here. Already locked up the first pick. Team has been looking a lot better. They said they're going to stick with Eberflus, whether you like it or not. The defense has been playing for him. You can see that the guys are still giving it everything they got. Obviously, Justin Fields is either playing for his job or playing for his next team. And I think the Packers have been so hit and miss. And Jordan Love has, had these weeks against really bad teams where they put up numbers. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that against this Bears defense. And I think the Bears are going to control the ball with the run game and take it upon themselves. Remember week 1 when the Packers blew them out in Chicago, and they're going to do everything they can to knock them out of the playoffs. And this is the Bears Super Bowl right here. I'm going to be watching this game extremely intently, and I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, no, I think it's should be very, very good.
are they at home?
No.
Lambeau.
Okay, I was gonna say don't know how I would have for sure been right back on the Jordan Love fade away
Yeah.
after big games. That's been money all year, but I didn't. I guess it's in.
Fields' last claim to stay. I think he's gonna have a good game.
All right. Nick and Corey battle it out here.
Go ahead,
All right,
Nick.
Let's see
Yeah,
this
no,
Oklahoma
no.
drill.
Let's see the
Oklahoma
last
drill time.
Go, Nick.
So the Colts, they had a great season with what they had. You know, hats off to them. New head coach, and lost their starting quarterback early in the year. They had a streak of beating really shitty teams like the Panthers, Patriots, Titans, you name it. They beat up on bad teams, and we saw that it's not sustainable last week. They got absolutely pounced by the Falcons, which in my opinion
That was
is
2
not.
weeks ago. Thank you, though.
Oh, all right. Well, that's when.
Yeah, that was one of my bets, remember?
All right. So 2 weeks ago, you got pounced by the Falcons, kind of bounced back last week against, a shitty Raiders team. So, like I said, you could beat good, bad teams, but, CJ Stroud's back. Nico Collins is healthy. And, I don't think you're going to be able to stop that duo. I think it's going to be a huge game for them. And let's be honest, Corey, like the NFL doesn't care about Indianapolis. They're all about the rookie quarterback. They need one this year. Like their shining star, number one pick, Bryce Young, was a complete bust. And, Anthony Richardson got hurt. So, CJ Stroud's got to be the NFL's little shining star this year. And you're just going to have to accept that they want him in the playoffs and not the Colts. So, like I said, you had a great year. It was a fun run. Nothing personal there, pal. But
Nick, when
this
you
just
say
comes
they
down
want,
to what the NFL wants, and
when you
We're at
say
their
the
will.
NFL wants, are they just like in Gardner Minshew's helmet? Like, all right, I'm gonna need you to throw a pick six right now. Like, what exactly? What do you mean?
I think the refs can totally control and dictate the flow of a game, and
Okay.
they will do that in favor of the Texans.
I'm gonna be on the
Holding
lookout.
calls, things like that.
I'll be on the lookout for the
Minshew
Seahawks.
playing from behind the downs, it's almost as bad as Corey's mustache. So
Funny you say we actually have like one of the worst ref crews to host at home. It's the same ref crew that PB absolutely adores. Ones that missed the PI call, Saints and Rams.
Oh, yeah.
see,
Yeah,
they've already
that
been in
crew.
on controversial games.
Yeah.
So
That crew throws, I think I read today, 59% more flags at the home team than they do against the away team. So, I mean, something to look at. I mean,
Well, we'll just monitor it. We'll just.
I mean,
see
if
there's
honestly,
any.
Corey's
Yeah.
just getting pre-excuses out. It's okay.
I mean, no.
Here he goes.
Well, I mean,
He
if we're
knows.
playing the
He knows.
narrative of where the NFL screws over teams, then this should be our game since we were screwed out of the Browns game by one of the most egregious calls ever seen in NFL history.
no, you don't get it. Like they
With
just
that win,
what the Colts did.
we're in the
It's not like
playoffs
an
right now.
even
We're not
game.
talking about this. But okay, let me read off some stats since Nick says, Nico Collins is going to absolutely torch Colts defense.
Like Adams did last week.
Adams against Juju Brent, who is our main receiver, 8 targets, 4 receptions, 43 yards.
What about so 40? So that's still a pretty solid stat line against one corner for only part of the game. You act like he was just on him the whole game.
I'm just saying that Nico.
What if he was on Brent's the whole game?
He wasn't on Brent's the whole game.
Exactly. So he had 43 yards and limited snaps against him. That's bad.
He had 8 targets. He caught 4 of them.
Okay, that's four for
How many
43.
were
He's a rookie corner. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. He's
Who
a
was the
rookie
corner that he put up 100 on or 100.
7th round corner. So
Okay.
who's actually been playing very well for the Colts. He just, we play a lot of zone coverage. So, all right. This is the other thing here. Will Anderson, Noah Brown, Malik Collins, Tunzel, Robert Woods, and a plethora of other Texans did not practice today. Something to monitor. So that's not great. Jonathan Taylor games against the Texans where he started. 16 for 135 and a touchdown, 20 touches, 95 yards and touchdown, 15, 158 and 2, 32, 143 and 2, 35, 175 and 1.
Those sound like the Derrick Henry versus Houston stats till those just got slaughtered.
The Colts are 4-0-1 when JT has started versus the Houston Texans. He didn't start this year. And they still won. The Texans are notoriously bad against the run this year. They give up around
No, they're
95
not. They're not. They're
They-
not bad against the run.
They give up around 95 yards a game. So
You're
I mean,
averaging the beginning of the year when they got Tart from the
well,
Titans.
this is me. This is not you. So
You
this is
can't
me.
spew things that aren't true. They are good against the run.
Okay. All right. Well, stats
They
say
got
otherwise.
Tart from the Titans. The Titans were great against the run till they released him. He was a cancer in the locker room, apparently. He went to the Texans, and now their defense is good, and the Titans' run defense isn't as good. That dude Tart can stop the run.
Okay. Well, the Colts are really good running the ball, so I'd rather take that over a mediocre run defense team. Yeah, the Colts have owned the Texans. Colts play Texans a lot better at home. Obviously, last year was the fluke game of, we wanted to lose. Texans shouldn't have won that game, but they did and gave the Bears the first overall pick. Which, obviously Houston fans, are probably okay with because CJ Stroud has definitely looked a lot better. Yeah, I mean, I just must-win game for the Colts. In the years past, I'd be nervous, but Shane Steichen is a much better coach than we've had in the past. Obviously, Gardner Minshew is the only kind of worrisome. If he gets pressured, then he kind of runs around the backfield with his head cut off. But the Colts have done a lot better. They're healthy on the offensive line for one of the first times in a very long time. So I'm taking the Colts here at home as underdogs at +1.5 right now as of Tuesday. So see you guys in the playoffs next week. Oh wait,
Like on the
probably won't.
playoff show?
What?
On the playoff show? I mean, the Browns are going to be the only team here.
No, we're gonna be in there.
Because we already locked that shit up.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were gifted the win versus us, so that's why you locked it up.
Right. I mean, you should already know the script by now, Corey. Like it's not a matter of like tit for tat. It's just like the NFL doesn't.
I mean, I would expect this
viewership
out of
is garbage.
I would
So
expect this
they
out of
don't-
PB, not you.
Well, I don't. Why would I? I would never have a bet off of a narrative like that. You know that, Corey. It would come off of real hard stats. Like the Texans' run defense is good, not bad.
Okay.
Just remember, Derrick Henry had like what 300 yard, whatever the stat was. I can't.
Derrick Henry's also like 35, so
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor has.
and
been
our offensive line
bullied.
is 10 times better than the Titans.
Okay. Well,
You know who's not better than the Titans? Your secondary, and the Titans secondary is garbage. Enjoy those 7th round picks. Nico Collins coming at you.
All right, we'll see.
spicy week 18 to end the year. But we'll continue. We have a crazy DFS slate. It's definitely the weirdest one of the year. Some edges to be had, but it takes a lot of sifting through. And then we'll be back for the playoffs next week. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.